Hello, and thank you for your interest in becoming a Roice-Hurst Humane Society volunteer at our Delta location. This orientation will teach you the basics about our shelter, what volunteer opportunities we offer, and how our volunteer program works. My name is Jenna Kretschmann, and I'm the foster and volunteer coordinator at Roice-Hurst Humane Society. I'll be your go-to person for any volunteer or foster-related questions, comments, concerns, or ideas, although any staff member working at the shelter would be happy to assist you if you need any help or guidance. You can get a hold of me using the contact information on the screen, either by email, call, or text. I work on site at our Delta location every Thursday, but I'm based in Grand Junction the rest of the week. This orientation will teach you about our shelter and volunteer opportunities and policies, but to become an official Roice-Hurst volunteer, you must take the quiz linked at the end of this video to verify that you've completed this orientation, and then you'll need to send me an email to schedule a shelter tour before you're able to come in to volunteer. So please watch this video in its entirety. Next, I'll introduce you to some of the other staff members you'll be seeing around the shelter. This is Savannah, our Delta shelter technician. She's the face that you'll be seeing most of the time while volunteering. Savannah works on site in Delta Saturday through Wednesday. This is Nolan, our shelter manager. He manages both locations, and you'll see him in Delta every Friday. Before we begin, I first want to say thank you for wanting to give your time to the lost and homeless pets in our shelter. We rely on volunteers to advocate for the shelter and animals within our community. Volunteers are an essential part of sheltering, and we value your help greatly. We hope you find your experience as a Roice-Hurst volunteer rewarding, fun, and educational. Roice-Hurst Humane Society has 2 locations. Our main full-service location is located in Grand Junction. In 2021, we opened this Delta satellite location to hold stray dogs for the city and county of Delta. This shelter is located at 720 West 4th Street in Delta, and our hours are Monday through Friday from 11 to 1 and 4 to 5:30, and Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 1, but volunteers are welcome to help whenever there's a staff member on site, which is from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. every day of the week. Because we are contracted with the city and county of Delta to hold stray and impounded dogs, this shelter is not a full-service location. The purpose of this shelter is to hold lost and impounded dogs who were picked up on the streets. This location is not an adoption center, so most dogs who are not picked up by their owners will enter our adoption program either in foster care or move to our Grand Junction location. Because cats are allowed to free roam in Delta, we typically do not take in cats at this location, although there may occasionally be cats staying with us on a case-by-case basis. Now I'll tell you a little bit more about our organization as a whole. Roice-Hurst Humane Society's mission is to promote bonds between pets and their people. Roice-Hurst Humane Society was founded in 1963 when the Royce and Hearst families began taking in stray animals into their homes because there was no other humane society in Grand Junction at the time. Fun fact, our very first shelter was actually a chicken coop. We're a private nonprofit organization funded mostly by donations, service fees, and grants. We're proud to be a socially conscious shelter, which means that we do not euthanize animals due to lack of space or resources, breed, or length of stay, but we do on rare occasions use euthanasia in situations where an animal is terminally ill or too dangerous to release into the community. This is what the process looks like to become a Roice-Hurst volunteer. The first thing, which you've likely already done, is submit a volunteer application on our website. After we receive your application, you'll receive a welcome email with a link to this orientation. Next, you'll watch this orientation and, if desired, the additional training video linked at the end of this video if you want to work hands-on with the animals. Both of these videos have corresponding quizzes that you'll need to take at the end. Once you've done that, you're ready to schedule a tour with me at the shelter. Email jenna@rhumanesociety.org to set up a time. If you're able to meet on a Thursday, that's best as that's when I'm on site in Delta, but please let me know if a Thursday doesn't work for you and we can work something out. At the shelter, you'll sign a volunteer agreement and code of conduct. After that, you're officially a Roice-Hurst volunteer. We don't create a set schedule for our volunteers, so feel free to come in whenever you'd like. It's great if you call ahead first so that we know to expect you. The first thing you should do when you arrive to the shelter is sign into the volunteer log located on the windowsill by the front desk. When you're done volunteering, please be sure to go back and sign out again. On the volunteer log, You'll write the date and your name. Write the time you came in and the time you finished, which don't have to be exact, but please try to round to the nearest 5 minutes. For example, if you came in at 2:43, you can just write 2:45. Next, you'll write the tasks that you did during that time. Please specify how much time you spent on each task. For example, you did laundry from 10 to 11, you walked dogs from 11 to 1, and you cleaned the yard from 1 to 2. Please always wear your volunteer badge when you're volunteering. Badges are located inside the volunteer hours log binder. We don't allow the public back in the kennels or in the play yard alone, so this badge is your pass to get around the shelter. We do have a dress code which includes long pants, closed-toed shoes, and tasteful shirts without inappropriate images or messages. Tank tops, crop tops, shorts, open-toed shoes, and dangly jewelry is not allowed. We want your volunteer experience to be safe and fun, so if you're presented with a task that makes you feel uncomfortable, don't do it. If you need assistance from a staff member or higher-level volunteer, please ask. Never feel like you have to work with an animal that you're uncomfortable handling. Staff will make sure that all of our animals are properly fed and socialized and taken care of, so you can just work with the animals that you want to work with. Please report anything that concerns you to a staff member. This may include medical issues you've noticed with the animals, inappropriate behavior of animals or humans, things that need repair or maintenance, or anything else. Do not attempt to diagnose or treat a medical condition or concerning behavior. This is a job for trained staff members. If you notice a medical or behavioral concern, please communicate it to a staff member. We want to make sure that we're consistent in our training techniques, so if you have any suggestions for things that we should try with a particular animal, feel free to let us know. Please do not give treats to an animal without first either consulting a staff member or checking to make sure the animal does not require a special diet. Some animals have allergies or medical conditions and require a certain type of food. Please refrain from using your cell phone while volunteering unless you're using it for a volunteer-related activity like reading to the animals. We also ask that you not take photos of the animals without permission, because some of them may be under special circumstances where they aren't in the public eye yet. We also don't want photos or information about the animals to be shared with the public that doesn't come from us so that our messaging stays consistent and accurate. As a volunteer, you'll need to present yourself according to the Volunteer Code of Conduct included in the Volunteer Handbook. At Roice-Hurst, we have a wide range of volunteer opportunities for all types of interests and skill sets. Volunteers are an essential part of our shelter and mission. If you're unsure about what tasks need done, please ask a staff member to see how you can help. The next few slides will show you what volunteer opportunities are available to you at Roice-Hurst. Any task listed with an asterisk in the next few slides requires additional training. One of our most important never-ending tasks is cleaning and building maintenance. This includes washing dishes, washing, drying, and folding laundry, sweeping and mopping, pulling weeds, yard maintenance, and scooping poop. We're housed in an older building, so if you're handy, there's always something that needs fixing. Just ask. And of course, animal care. To work hands-on with the animals, you'll need to complete additional training. We require you to maintain a minimum of 48 hours per year to work with the animals. As an animal care volunteer, you can walk dogs next to the shelter in the designated play yard or socialize pets through grooming, reading, interactive play, enrichment, and mental stimulation. Fostering is one of our biggest volunteer needs. Almost any animal in the shelter who is not on stray hold is eligible to move into a foster home. You can act as your adoptable foster pet's adoption ambassador and help them find a home while staying out of the kennels. We allow adoptions to be processed from foster care, so once you take an animal out of the shelter, most of the time they never have to come back. While we don't typically have cats staying with us at our Delta location, we do have a huge need for cat and kitten fosters in the Delta area. We need fosters for animals who can't be in the shelter, like underage kittens and puppies, bottle-fed animals, nursing moms with babies, under-socialized cats and dogs, and medical cases. We especially need fosters for kittens during what's known as kitten season, which is when cats are born during the warmer months of the year, and we intake hundreds of kittens, many of whom are underage or under-socialized and require foster care. If you're interested in fostering, please let me know and I'd be happy to get you started. You can also be an animal transporter if you're a licensed driver. We need transport volunteers to drive animals mostly between our Grand Junction and Delta shelters, but occasionally to and from vet appointments or foster homes. Please note that when you transport our pets, you'll be using your own car and operating under your own insurance policy. We also need volunteers to help with fundraising and events. We typically have several big events per year and the occasional adoption event where we bring our adoptable pets. We need volunteers to help plan, set up, and man tables at events, as well as handle adoptable pets. You can also hold your own event with staff approval. Our mobile vet unit is another area where we have a huge need for volunteer help. Every couple of months, we will bring our mobile surgical unit to Delta for public spay-neuter clinics, and we need a ton of volunteer help on these days. We rely on volunteers to clean and prepare surgical instruments, help recover animals after surgery, and lots of other tasks such as check-in and check-out, setup, and various miscellaneous tasks throughout the day. This is a great way to get experience in the veterinary field if that's something you're interested in. We occasionally hold low-cost vaccine clinics in Delta. Volunteers are needed to help with setup, holding animals, paperwork, and directing people. And last but not least, if you have any ideas or special skills that you would like to use to benefit the shelter, we'd love to see it. The great part about our volunteers is that they have such a broad range of knowledge and expertise and so many great ideas. If you have something in mind, please let me know. To stay up to date on any other volunteer opportunities we have, please join our Facebook group just for our volunteers. The group is called Roice-Hurst Humane Society Volunteers, and you can find it by going to facebook.com/groups/Roice-Hurst Volunteers. In this group, you can meet other volunteers, stay up to date on shelter news, see what we need help with on a particular day or week, and ask any questions that you have. At Roice-Hurst, we classify our volunteers into different levels based on the training they've received. Our levels in Delta range from level V1 to level V3. After you've completed orientation and been on a tour, you will officially be a level V1 volunteer. As a V1 volunteer, you can help with cleaning, building maintenance, office work, events, and cleaning and prepping instruments for surgeries on the mobile unit during spay-neuter clinics. You may not handle animals at this level. To maintain your V1 status, you must come in to volunteer for at least 12 hours per year. If you want to work hands-on with the animals, you can become a V2 volunteer by doing more training. To become a V2 volunteer, you'll need to watch the V2 video, which will be linked at the end of this orientation, and then schedule a time to come in and walk a dog with me so that I can show you proper techniques and where the necessary supplies are. To maintain your V2 status, you'll need to come in and volunteer for at least 4 hours per month performing V2 duties. As a V2, we ask that you continue working on V1 tasks like cleaning, but you can now do animal care tasks like walking and enrichment for our easiest dogs. You can also handle dogs at adoption events and assist with post-surgical animal recovery on the mobile unit. Next is level V3. To become a level V3, you must complete 12 hours of V2 tasks, complete the in-person V3 class, and maintain at least 6 hours per month performing V3 duties. As a V3 volunteer, we ask that you still continue doing V1 and V2 tasks, but you may now work with animals who are a bit more challenging and hold animals at vaccine clinics. Last but not least is our junior volunteer level for volunteers between the ages of 12 and 15. Junior volunteers must complete orientation and take a tour with an adult. That same adult must accompany the child at all times while volunteering. Junior volunteers can interact with animals up to the V2 level. Now I'll answer some frequently asked questions about our volunteer program. When can I volunteer? You can come in anytime between 9:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. every day of the week, essentially whenever a staff member is on site. Your volunteer time is not on a set schedule, so feel free to come in at your convenience. We appreciate if you call ahead to let us know you'll be coming in. What should I do if a shelter animal bites me? Please report it right away to shelter staff. You will be required to fill out an incident report. We classify a bite as a tooth-breaking skin, regardless of the nature of the bite. Even if a playful dog accidentally scrapes your skin with a tooth, we still need to classify that as a bite. If a dog attempts to bite you but does not break skin, that behavior still needs to be reported. Please be sure to explain the circumstances of the bite accurately so that we can properly assess the behavior of the animal. If the skin is broken, we will provide basic first aid or recommend that you see a doctor. If I get injured while volunteering, is it covered? The answer is no. Our insurance does not provide coverage for our volunteers. What benefits can I receive as a Roice-Hurst volunteer? Aside from the fact that working with animals helps relieve stress and improves mood, you will also receive thank you gifts as you progress as a volunteer. 40 hours of volunteering gets you a Roice-Hurst volunteer shirt. 100 hours of volunteering, not including fostering, in less than a year's time, gets you $100 off the adoption of an animal. Do I put my own animals at risk by volunteering? As long as your pets are current on vaccinations, there is minimal risk. We advise that you get your dogs the Bordetella, aka kennel cough vaccine, if they're not current on it. You should wash and sanitize your hands often at the shelter because we oftentimes don't know the medical history of the dogs that are coming in. Congrats, you've made it to the end of the orientation. So now what? Next is quiz time. Please take the orientation quiz linked in the video description below to complete this orientation. After that, if you'd like to work hands-on with the animals, please watch the V2 training video linked in the description below. When you're done, email jenna@rhumanesociety.org to schedule a shelter tour. If you've watched the V2 video, we can complete your V2 training during this tour. Thank you for watching the Roice-Hurst Volunteer Orientation, and I hope to meet you in person soon. If you have any questions, you can email me at jenna@rhumanesociety.org or give me a call or text.